Hi, I'm Manos, this is Maria, founders and directors of the EV Real Estate Group, and welcome to On the Couch with M&M.
M&M, or
M&M.
Manos and Maria.
That's it.
So this is where we go behind the scenes to uncover what makes entrepreneurs and industry providers, business owners, tick, and also what they think of the future in real estate.
We're really looking forward to sharing all the inside stories of what it actually takes to run a really successful business, whether you're starting out, whether you're thinking about starting your own business, or whether you're currently running a real estate agency, and how you can obviously make it better. So, hope you enjoy. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with M&M, and we do have both of us back.
Yes.
Maria's back from her overseas trip.
It's great to be back.
Yes, and you had some fun time, and we purchased a property over there that we've been looking for some time.
Yeah, and we're going back there with a whole group in June for our conference, our EV conference, so we're really looking forward to that. So we'll be there June and a little bit of July.
And we'll send you some pics from there.
Yeah.
But today we have a really special guest, a really great topic, something that most business owners really absolutely love, probably the best part of real estate. And we're going to be talking about trust accounting today.
Look how excited he is.
I'm excited.
Oh.
I love trust accounting. I love the process. And I actually, we should really talk about how we started our trust accounting process. But look, our special guest today is our auditor, Naomi Strong from Strong Consulting. And welcome to the show, Naomi.
Thanks, Manos. Thanks.
It's good to have you on board.
Yeah.
Likewise, good to be here.
Awesome.
Let's just start with your story. So why trust accounting? When did you start, and how long have you been in the business?
So we're public practice accountants, and we specialise in audit and compliance in the real estate industry, which is quite unusual for accountants. Yes. Usually they'll diversify, but we chose to target the real estate industry. We saw that there was a need in the industry for people with for accountants with a particular skill set, and an understanding, a good sound knowledge of the industry and how it worked, because it was lacking in many areas. So we just started a business.
How long ago, Naomi?
7 or 8 years ago now.
8 years ago. And now you've got a team of
6 people, yeah.
Fantastic.
Four that work in audit and 2 admin support staff. And we're out there trying to improve the processes and procedures, some of the internal bits and pieces in offices, as well as provide an audit service.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and I think that's really important to understand. There's one thing getting your books audited, and we'll talk about the process of getting your books audited, but it's also important that your team are trained, and obviously with yourself you do go into organisations and train the team to make sure that they know the process of audit.
As in the real estate agency,
the real estate,
the client.
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's all about it. It's an education process, and sometimes it takes years to fully bed down some of the concepts. But we get there in the end eventually. It's all our clients, yeah.
But let's give the audience an overview of what trust accounting is, and I'll go back to my initial introduction, where our entrance into real estate was, if people have read our book, was quite unconventional. I came into it kicking and screaming, but I remember...
He loves telling that story. He loves telling everybody,
but it's the truth.
Everybody that you came into it kicking and screaming. You're not kicking and screaming anymore.
No. So there's hope
now.
for everyone. You don't have to love this business when you enter it. You get to love it. But it's really important. So I had no idea what trust accounting was. I didn't know what a trust account was. So when Maria first came into our office and she presented me with a deposit, a check for a deposit on a property, I thought it was money that we could actually put into a general account to use for our cash flow. And
we shouldn't be saying this live.
I know we are saying it live, but I think it's important to understand, as 13 years ago, that's where we came from.
Yeah.
And then Maria looked at me and goes, no, I think it needs to go into a trust account. And it wasn't like, at least you knew that. It needed to go into a trust account.
I did.
So we were operating a business, in the first 2 weeks, making a sale, and we hadn't even opened up a trust account. So we fumbled through that, and of course, that was a great journey for us. The obstacle made us look at our operation and find out everything that really needed to be done. So that's where I got really passionate about the process of auditing and the importance of it, and finding out how do you comply with legislation. But most sales agents, let's be truthful, they progress into a business. The last thing that they're thinking about is the auditing process, the sales trust, our obligation,
Compliance, running of the business, business management. That's
so. What advice would you give to someone who is currently running an office and someone who's looking at starting their own office?
Education. It's education. Education is definitely an understanding the processes, but the problem is with trust accounting, there isn't a course that anybody can go and do. You can't, and
it's incorporated within the license, but it's not a big part of it, and it's really
doesn't cover.
It's
very
not
basic.
Reality in that is two totally different things.
It's very different. Very different. But for a new business owner and existing business owners, if you engage a company like ours, like Strong Consulting, we come in and do a compliance check. We cover off on a range of areas. We look at files. We look at the trust accounting. We look at agents representative documentation, and make sure that that's all in order. And anything that isn't, we then address and try and educate staff and directors as to their responsibilities. And then we come back for 2 visits every year and make sure that these various aspects are in order, and if they're not, we go over it again and again and again until we get it right.
Because the auditing is time sensitive under legislation. In also, so I know you operate a majority in Victoria, but you also do Queensland.
Some Queensland clients,
and we're also talking about expanding statewide or nationwide, I should say. So that's going to be an exciting process. But auditing is a compliance issue to make sure that you're compliant with the relevant acts, but not only in the trust accounting side of it, in sales and rentals, but also engaging with employees and making sure that their documentation your agent's representative. So the auditor's role does extend further.
The auditor's role does extend further in some situations. So we value add. So we provide a whole range of additional services. Just it's part of what we do.
Talk to us about that. Can you go through those or some of them?
Well, typically a trust account audit is just about the trust accounting. However, we might look at your compliance in terms of letterhead, so corporate stationery, for example. There's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't think there's very, very few offices that I've walked into that actually have compliant letterhead corporate stationery.
And what do you need to have on your letterhead? If you can give us an example. You need to have the company name, the license name.
The company name, the trading name, ABN, ACN, and that's about it as far as the Victorian legislation goes.
In the past, we also had to nominate the officer in effective control.
The directors, etc., that sort of thing.
That doesn't need to happen anymore.
That legislation changed a couple of years ago. I am following it every now and then. So
So what else do you look at as a value add when you're looking at?
When we look at, we'll look at the files and the trust accounting as a combined process. If we can see areas where a business can be more efficient or save some money, we'll definitely give that advice. Perhaps as a very basic example, perhaps you're printing half a tree every time you produce your end of month report. So we can minimise the printing in that sense. Maybe you're overstaffed. We can look at numbers compared to the amount of rental properties property managers are managing. There's a whole range of.
So you do a full audit, and you've looked at businesses that actually do all the trust accounting inside. You've got clients that do the in-house internally, and then some others that actually outsource that. Tell us what the positives and the minuses and the pluses of each one, and what do you think?
It's very much it's very much an individual decision for each business, I think. Sometimes it can work better to have an external trust accountant. Typically, external trust accountants know exactly what they're doing. My admin partner, for example, is a very good one.
We use
my admin partner is a separate company that does purely sales trust accounting for sales offices throughout Australia, and the majority of the EView group use my admin partner for their sales trust account, and we have a per deal basis charge. Extremely cost effective. And for us, the reason we've chosen to outsource our trust accounting is twofold. One, the human resources to have a capable in-house person to do your trust accounting, to be knowledgeable in all aspects of legislation, compliance with law is extremely important. And someone like that, they're in the vicinity of 70, 80, maybe sometimes 90,000 per year. Would that be a fair remuneration for an in-house trust account person to be doing doing your books. Would that be about right? Or
I think it can vary.
Yeah.
It varies. But yeah, look, as an average, rough estimate, something like that. Yes, definitely.
So having that, obviously that expertise and the day-to-day knowledge that they have, transacting so many,
it's efficient.
It's efficient.
Also, when they go on holidays, if they're in-house, when they go on holidays, someone else has to do it.
That's
Whereas
right.
when you outsource it, you've got a team of, I don't know, half a dozen to 8 people there that they cover each other, and you know that it's always done.
That's right.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add to that, or in regards to outsourcing or in-house?
I don't think so. Look, in my experience, if it's, for example, if they're using my admin partner, I would definitely recommend them to go the external route. Definitely. Yeah.
And for those people that have internal team members who actually do the trust accounting for them, whether it be rentals and sales, is there anything in particular they should look out for? So as an owner, the last thing on your mind is, have I reconciled? End of month rollover, just sign off on the rollover. There are some important aspects that the office, especially the directors and office effective control, they're obligated to know. So is there any aspects of a team member that they can provide some information back to the director on a consistent basis and say everything is fine? Is it reconciling every day? Is it reconciling at the end of the week? What are the sort of warning signs? Or tell us some stories of some...
Well, technically, the officer in effective control should understand their responsibilities and should understand that
before
they need to sign off
within, a big tip.
Within 14 days of the end of the month. Again, I think it comes back to education. So we run various courses. We deliver training because we're specialists in the field. We deliver training to some of our clients and run courses in trust accounting, in officer and effective control responsibilities and duties.
Yeah.
And try and educate them.
And do you do those? Do you go to your client to actually train? Or
yes,
do you
usually. Yeah,
okay.
Usually. But trying to educate directors, as you say. Often directors are salespeople that have been fantastic at what they do, very successful, and they want to take that extra step and open their own business and make a whole lot of money, and that's fantastic, and all credit to them, and they should. But they're not the best business people. So I think having a good trust accountant, whether it's in-house or external, is very important. But again, they still need to understand some.
They need to understand it, but you know what? And it's not that you're not good. They're not. They could be good at it. I'm just speaking from my behalf. It's just that you don't. And we've talked about this before with other interviews. You don't have time to do everything. If you're training people, you're hiring, so you're recruiting. Then you're training. You're running sales meetings. You are listing and selling as a managing director because you need to get the business started, especially at the beginning, and get the leads happening within the office. The last thing that it will be in your mind will be
correct.
It will be doing the trust accounting.
Yes.
So that's where you need a really good person to overlook it and or even outsource it, so you don't have to even worry about it.
To be honest, at least with outsourcing, you have a guarantee of a level of quality.
Yeah.
And this is the problem that I see in many of the real estate agencies. So unfortunately, the legislation and the framework that we work under in this state doesn't require any sort of particular qualification to be a trust accountant. There's no police check required. It's not like being an agent's representative and working in the industry where you have to be registered with the BLA and certain checks are put in place and balances.
I actually didn't know that.
There is nothing.
Zero.
You can pull anybody off the street and they can operate your $5 million trust account.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's scary.
And they have access to those funds. It is.
And it is scary, and I'm a big advocate for change in that area, and I'm in the process of actually writing a trust accounting course to deliver because we need it. And I've been in discussions with the RIV about a particular qualification, so that trust accounts have to be qualified, and also with the Business Licensing Authority, there should be a register. Trust accountants should be registered and they should be required to have a police check. They're the people dealing with the money directly. It's vital. So,
but because it's not legislation, you can go to best practice. Not everything has to be legislated before you implement.
Absolutely.
So for my admin partner, we select my admin partner. It's a fully licensed estate agent, 30 years in the business, and their team is also
the checks and balances.
The checks and balances are in there.
Yeah.
So that's one great thing about outsourcing. But again, if you're going to keep it in-house, just do your checks and balances.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Make sure you have the right people.
That's right.
Yeah.
To give you a story, actually, there was a fraud at one of my clients' offices, which we investigated. It was only for a small dollar amount, a few $1,000s. This person was sacked, effectively, asked to leave, and they popped up 3 or 4 months later at another client of mine. So, you need to be careful.
Extremely careful. But isn't it interesting? And the obligation to a director and officer in effective control, if money goes missing out of the trust account, it is the directors and officers of effective control obligation, responsibility to put it straight back, replace the funds. So I'll give you an example of what happened to us in the first 6 months of opening up the eView Trust account. We had $1,500 siphoned from the account from fraudulent activity. Not from an internal, it was totally online. But that $1,500, I rang up our auditor at the time. What do I need to do? He goes, take out $1,500 from your general account and put it straight into the trust account. And I said, yeah, but that wasn't my fault. He goes, it doesn't matter. You're responsible. So until the bank could do their internal investigation and refund our $1,500, that was our obligation. And that goes for sales, trust accounts, and for rentals.
Well, trust accounts hold public money. So if there's money that's gone missing out of it, you're using someone else's money to prop up other transactions. So that's why you have to transfer the general account fund.
And as business owners, should we have 2 trust accounts? If you're running a rental department and a sales department, what's your recommendation?
Again, it depends on the individual businesses. I've got some startup businesses that are just happy to run with 1 trust account at the moment. Once you get bigger, it would be my advice to set up 2 separate trust accounts. To separate it, to keep it clean. It's cleaner. It also depends on ownership and unit trusts and what sort of structures you've got in place. So,
and it's not a lot of money to operate a separate trust account through the bank and all that. It's just the auditing of 2 separate trust accounts at the end of the day.
That's correct. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, and also somebody to process those 2 trust accounts. So,
day to day.
It depends.
The day-to-day processing,
Okay.
True. Absolutely.
So,
Awesome.
I reckon we might get on to the Fast 5, unless there's anything else you want to add? Yeah. Is there anything that really stands out in your experience in the last, few years of doing trust accounting and auditing? Some last tips to any budding business owners?
Sure. Look, I think you need to understand your end-of-month reconciliations. I think you need to understand where areas of fraud are possible. Make sure you've got good staff that you can trust.
Yeah.
And train continually.
Train continually, absolutely. A little bit hard to do when there's not a trust accounting course available at the moment, but there will be soon. So watch this space.
Awesome.
Good on you, Naomi. That's fantastic. It's good to see, people just being so passionate about what you do and actually taking it up to yourself to provide something to the industry that's not there already, which is, it's amazing. I was going to ask you another thing. We haven't done it before, but I thought I'll throw it at you and just see, if, and I didn't ask you before, so this is completely, off the cuff. Yes. I was wondering if you had an offer for our viewers, maybe, with your business. Like a
free health
or an offer for the first 5 that would maybe pick up the phone and ring and mention our show. What does everybody think of that? I just came out of it.
Great idea.
Yeah, sure. The first 5 or 10, whatever you like, I don't mind.
Oh, no,
you could go and do
it's up to you.
Well, our business we could go and do a health check, a compliance check, and give them a written report on areas of concern that they might like to address. And
awesome. Great idea, Maria.
Yeah. Awesome.
So everyone can go to Strong Consulting Services, so it's strongconsultingservices.com.au, or contact Naomi. I'll share your telephone number. It's 1300 721 356. So it's 1300 721 356. So I'll say the first 5 to call Naomi can get a free health check on their business. Awesome.
Why not?
Well,
Thank you.
That was a good throw in.
I just thought, I was thinking about it before the Fast 5. I thought we might start doing that because then, it gives our viewers some value and it also gives your business, some good new people to meet and new clientele. Fast 5, are you ready?
No.
Of course you are. You've been doing great. Okay. As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A marine biologist.
Marine biologist. Well, we haven't had that one, have we?
No.
That's miles away from what you're doing.
Completely different, yes. It's
Okay.
funny how life leads you in
Isn't it
different
amazing?
directions. It is.
Name an achievement that you're most proud of.
Probably my son. That's a bit of slightly boring
No,
answer, but it's true.
I would say
think
the
it's
same.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Actually, on a second note, probably
Yeah.
my business too. I'm really proud of my business. I was a
Hope your
single-
son's not watching.
No, that's not. The business is slightly below my son. He's up there.
Sensational.
Yeah.
Creating the business from effectively nothing and
scratch.
being a single mum at the
Yeah.
time and
Yeah.
putting myself through uni and all that sort of stuff to,
Good on you.
being where we are now.
You should be proud.
That's good.
Number 3, what is the next item on your bucket list?
Oh, I'm about to hike Kinabalu, Kota Kinabalu, the volcano in Borneo. So
Wow.
that's a bit of a
Awesome.
bucket list item. Yeah.
Awesome.
A few things like that. Mm-hmm.
How long? Like what?
Oh, it's not a big hike. I did Kokoda
Okay.
a few years ago, so that was a bit bigger. But this
Yeah.
is just I think it's interesting.
something that
It's
you
in
wanted to
Borneo.
do,
It's
yeah.
a volcano. It's 2
Yeah.
days.
Awesome.
It's 4,000 meters.
Awesome.
Fantastic. On you. Who do you admire the most within the industry and why?
I admire Alex Malley, who is the CEO of CPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the most. I think he's very proactive. He's very personable. I think the way that he communicates with the public and the different appearances he makes these days in the TV show and things he's got going is
Yeah.
is
I'm in the
excellent.
middle of reading his book,
Yeah.
his
Oh, are
latest
you?
book,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really interesting
Yeah.
fellow.
Fun.
And He's
He's
fun.
fun.
That's
I
true.
can't
He
believe
is
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, accountants do have personality.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
they do.
amazing. I know.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Awesome.
And if your life was a book, what would the title be?
You can overcome anything. Definitely.
Love it.
You can overcome anything.
Love it. You can overcome
Love it.
everything.
Yep.
That's
Easily.
excellent.
Anything.
Anything.
Anything and
Anything.
everything. Well,
Anything
and
same
everything.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You can.
It's been amazing to
always
have you
one.
on board. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
You're welcome.
I
Thank
know
you.
it's a topic, trust accounting is a topic that many people don't really want to get into, but it's such an important part of the business. And thank you for sharing your story and your knowledge. And look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And maybe to another interview later on.
Yes.
Well, maybe. You never
Yes.
know.
See, it wasn't that hard.
It wasn't that hard.
Thank you. So good to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Yeah. Thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you at the next episode.